Hello, welcome to the Cast Gallery. My name's Kay and I'm a volunteer guide here. I'm sorry I can't be here with you in person today, but at least I can tell you a bit about our cast collection. Everything that you see here is a faithful replica in plaster of a great ancient Greek or Roman sculpture. And why do we have so many of them here? Well, in 1884, the University of Oxford decided that they would like to make a comprehensive collection representing the whole development of sculpture in the ancient Greek and Roman civilizations as an educational, teaching and research resource for students of classical archaeology. Over the next 30 years, they bought 500 casts, and today our collection stands at nearly 1,000. And that's why what you see here is one of the largest, best preserved and best displayed cast collections that you'll find anywhere. Many museums found that casts took up too much space, they were very hard to maintain and were very fragile. And some even felt that there was no place for replicas in a modern museum. But here in Oxford, it's always been felt that there's enormous advantage to be gained by being able to see exact replicas of these great sculptures all in one place and close up. And in some cases, even better preserved now than the originals from which they were taken, because the originals are standing out in the weather and in pollution and have got eroded. So in this gallery, we have these casts are organised according to the purposes for which they were made. So if you stand with your back to the glass doors that you came in through and look to your right, what you'll see there is sculptures that were made for worship and for display in temples. Slightly to your left, you'll see statues that made to honour athletes, and behind them politicians, philosophers and poets, so commemorating the deeds and contribution of important individual humans. On the back wall you'll see funerary sculptures which were made to memorialise the dead. And at the far end and round the corner we have a collection of the kinds of sculptures that Romans chose to decorate their villas and their gardens. Now, making a cast is a complicated craft and a complex craft in its own right. Apprentices in Paris took 6 years to learn how to do it. So the way they're made is that you take your original sculpture and you put a protective coating on it, and then you cover it with plaster, making pieces. So it's called a piece mould. You need to get round the back and round all the different shapes of the sculpture. So you make it in pieces. Each piece you separate with lacquer from the next piece, and you allow that to dry. When they're dried, you take them away in pieces and you reassemble them away from the original as a kind of 3D jigsaw puzzle with a space in the middle, the exact shape and size of the original sculpture. And this is your piece mould. Into the mould you put a metal structure to strengthen the cast, and you pour plaster in through a hole. You move the mould around to make sure that there are no bubbles in it, and then after 45 minutes you can take away the mould, and there you have your replica of your original sculpture. On some of these sculptures you can see the lines between the pieces of the mould. You can still see evidence of them. So if you look at the one of the athlete who's scraping his arm with a scraper, and you look very closely, you can see on his torso these thin lines which are the marks left by the tiny gaps left between the pieces of the mould, and these are known as flash lines. On more modern casts, though, often these are got rid of. So if you have a look at this example in front of you, this is a statue of Antinous, who was the favourite of Emperor Hadrian, and he's shown here as an Egyptian god, Osiris. His mould was made out of resin, and you can see how very smooth that is, looking like an original marble sculpture with all of the flash lines removed.